Hi, my name is Kristian Macaron, and today I'll be reading from my book, Recipe for Time Travel in Case We Lose Each Other, which was published by Game Over Books in 2022. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to my work. Pulse. If there is a mirror to time, it is a garden of futures, unfurling to this, whatever this certainty is. And I imagine looking ahead of me into this shimmer, looking out of a tower of comet dust to tell you something unstar-crossed, and that the center of the Milky Way tastes like raspberries. And that is why I loved once and live still. If there is a mirror to time, I can imagine that I see my past before me, and before me, my father, a small child at a lake in the middle of a prairie that will one day be an ocean. And he is learning now to one day be my father, and he is putting fossils back into earth and pouring fish back into rivers, and already learning how to love me, even though I live in time behind him. And he is looking forward at his father, who is forging his own fortitude, a small child pouring fish back into rivers, and his grandfather walking in those mountains for the first time, small and pouring fish back into rivers. And even if there is a mirror to time, a river of matter, we cannot fathom it the way I also cannot measure the moments my father has felt the mountains around him and thought God is here, and how he gave that love to me before he gave that love to me, and how we both learned that life is exquisite and time endless, and you should see the ruins in space, and how they cannot crumble, not unlike a pulse, how they flower. Ode to Vesuvius. My first memory of watching a volcano is from a Superman cartoon I saw again and again and again in one afternoon, curled on the tile in front of the television, sun rays half inside my eyes. My siblings are outside in the summer, and their voices, far away songs, echo through the walls. Superman and Lois Lane shoot a documentary on a volcano they think is dormant. They climb the mountain carefully, so carefully their steps must feel like feathers turning into boulders. I have seen the mummies in the ash, know the name of Vesuvius, Herculean heat and smoke. I imagine the broiling, brawling, burning, bursting belter, the fury seething through a dry throat, the vent of a voice held so deep inside it has forgotten how to be gentle, how to sing like soft, warm earth. Not asleep, not dead, not dormant. My core feels this, can still feel this. Of course, Superman must save Lois, save the scientists. The volcano was never asleep. Dormant volcanoes can still have voice, and keep a throat still open to the heavens, a fire tongue parched with quiet sand. I now know my own, my burning core. I feel as the air leaves me tumbled dry, rough, and glowing, there are still many mouths without a voice, and I wonder how long until they realize the roar they hold can cause a world to waver. Eyes full of sun rays can cause a quiet so loud the air smolders, songs so far away, the earth ruptures. Superman can't stop Vesuvius. This I remember. Recipe for Time Travel in Case We Lose Each Other. Snow or a snow globe. Mars at the end of September. That wish I gave you. A map with both our footprints. If you can find one, a wave in a mountain. Or a portal under the sea. Cherry empanadas or red chili at Christmas. The way it feels to be still Halloween without candy or candles. A subspace highway without guardrails, or an unbound timepiece. your captured quest, or my buried treasure, that bar that was falling apart around us, somewhere in the future. It is not the end of the world yet. Time and things. Tonight I went underground and talked to a drummer about what time is, and he says it's different in the jungle. 1, 2, 3 versus 1, 2, 3, or vice versa. And I don't really know what he means, but I feel he is right, and I am trying to understand this strange planet and place my heart into heaven far away, because there it's safe and time is luminous, and here time is space and hiding spaceships, which we have and do not have, and here time is the most used noun in our language, time like a timepiece, or like a being, or a part of a predictable or an unpredictable. Like, is it mistaking the thing for someone you love, or is it mistaking someone you love for the thing? How do we know in time, and how do we fathom our insides when core cradles fragile fear and roaring courage? Is there a difference, really, and are there molecules or bees in physics? Past and future do not exist, but crumble. All breaks loose in multitudes. He says time is different in the jungle, and we are never prepared for the tsunami. 1, 2, 3 versus 1, 2, 3, or the so many ways of burning or freezing or burying. And how do you recognize a heart that asks you for its freedom? Or is it time? Tell me, can you feel really what is clawing out of your chest? And is Antarctica a place or a plane or a frenzy? 2 hearts. We learn very young that we carry 2 kinds of heart. The one that struggles with blood, and the other we bury things in. Both depend on currents carried by pressure. We are electric, magnetic, and you can hide, but there is still lightning in the desert. A sky blossom of sand and thunder on the mesa. Sometimes it rains here. Sometimes I think of you. If we have learned anything from this, it's that there is no replacement for a body. During quarantine, my grandfather rushes to fold himself over me, to tell me he loves me. And when I hold my breath, my heart aches. We learn very young to recognize 2 kinds of heart. The one that struggles, we bury things in. And the other, we build waterfalls and grow gardens. Sometimes you are so far away, sometimes too close. Yesterday, I found an arroyo that has been turned into a forest of trees that spindles from mountain runoff, and I am alone and maybe unreal here. And if we have learned anything from this, it's that there is no replacement for a body. In the forest where wilderness replaces me, where Llorona echoes, my mother remembers playing with her friends and how they broke through backyards to grow up in the wild. You can hide, but there is still lightning in the desert. Sometimes it rains here, sometimes you are so far away. Wanderer. 10. Now that years occur to me as space, I realize that I am not aware of where you are on this earth, in this stitched river of novas, this bed of planets. 9. Once a stranger told me that the Grand Canyon grows 1 centimeter each year, or crumbles, and that part of Guatemala is in California, and he is probably wrong about that, but I know the world is moving, he says, and that the snowy plateau of the Rockies is part of the Pacific subterranean, which forced herself through the crust to become a continental core. A planet is a wanderer, a wanderer. 8. I've been trying to figure out the way the world was built, the way tectonics equal breath, the ways that moments of nebulae and volcanoes pass among us into elemental ocean as moments of picking up starfish in the surf, as sifting through stones in mountains. 7. Pangea, Rodinia, Laurasia, Atlantis are names of infinite movement, and once they released seismic shutters, the plates, mental warm-breathed jade, into existence, silty snake green and ocean-veined. 6. I've stood in Chaco Canyon, under the many-armed painted nova, spinning in the shadow of a blinding sun, once the bed of a millennial ocean, epicontinental from the Arctic to the Mexican Gulf. The roads that passed here connected the homes of a millennial people. Supernova light, once an outstretched sudden flame, already past and already dimming. 5. I've been trying to figure out the way the world was built. The ground is as old as creation. Earth. Stone, dirt, ash, dust. Before the mountains there were oceans, before oceans a surface, and underneath a molten heart, pulsing to set the beat of hours in bursts. 4. Earth, starfish, breath, stars. The first maps are mountains pressed with seashells, tattoos older than language. The words of the Creator are these mountains, dry ridges of deep ocean, pressed atmosphere. We are here with no compass but spirit. How we choose to draw our breath, soundless, plant our steps, mercurial. 3. A star can live for 1,000,000 years and collapse in seconds, so heavy it suffocates into its own gravity. All brightness, and then suddenly neutrinos sculpting glow. From the surging remnant sings a radiant heartbeat, a beacon so fiercely alive it pulses through light years. The astronomers say we hold comet debris in our bodies, and that in 4 billion years our dust will meet Andromeda, churning molecular pendula, falling into some new world, or perhaps into the roiling chaos of starbirth. 2. I've been trying to imagine how the world was built, and when she started to allow herself to be formed by hands, bone-brittle, soft blood hands, what it is she seeks from us when she is already made of limestone, of lava. 1. All of this is happening even in the quiet, and I don't know where in this earth you have buried your heart, but I know that it is bursting. Subterranean rupture, and then a new space is made, a ladder of magma, and tiny islands in the crawling ocean, newborn earth, and heart smoke, starfish spinning in the weeds below.